Hi guys, today's video we are going to make a simple, beautiful, awesome list using HTML and CSS. So this list will look like this, and this is the list that we are going to come up with at the end of this tutorial. So I will design this in dark mode. So just to get started, we are implementing some few lines of HTML and CSS, the things that we need as default. So here we go. To get started, let me get back into my Figma design to see exactly how we will design this. So if you try to break this into parts, we can have here a div which sort everything we want to include in this list, and also we have this heading. It could be h4 or h3, and then we have these items, and next to each item we have this icon which will get it from Bootstrap CDN link. So now to get started, so let me do this now. So let's create first a div which we are going to sort everything in, everything that this list is including. So say class content, and then the second part is the heading. So here we can come up with, let's say, the second heading, and this will be sortable list, right? And then the second part is those list items. So we can express that by using in ordered list. So here we can say UL items, and we can design a list item here, and this can be first section, for example, or so here I can include a heading. So let's say, for example, here first section, right? And next to each element we have these icons where, yes, I think you will get this from Bootstrap. So I will leave this link in the description below. So here's the CDN link of Bootstrap Icons, and also here the link of Google font I use and the size sheet as well. So here we can say I class B by list. Great. So we would like to copy the same here. So we can say second one, second years, and the fourth one, and the fifth one here. So just we can get rid of this. We can say second section. We also have the third section and the fourth section, and finally we have the fifth section here. Okay, so that's for the markup. So let's jump into the style.css now. So here I came up with this default design and also a font family from Google Fonts. So here is the link of this font, and now the first thing we want to look at is the background color of this web page, right? So here we have body, and we can set background color to #222, right? So if we take a look at this in the browser, you can see here this is the background color we use for this page. And then one thing left is the content, so where we will include everything concerning this list. So as you can see here, we have this list in the center of the page. So we can do this more traditionally. So let's give it a width of 500 pixel, and let's center it by saying margin 0 URL, and we'll give a background color to this right? That way, so it's triple tree, and let's set a margin top as well for this list. So here we can have 130 pixels, and we can give a padding for each one of them, so to 20 pixels here. And yeah, so let's take a look at this first. Right, so it looks good. So we want just to make the border here radius, so we can do this by saying border radius. We can give about 10 pixels to match, right? So let's give it just 7 pixel. Right, this is good. So now the second part is the heading. So here we will design the heading 2. Okay, so here we can say content h2. So we can center it by text align center, and we can give it a color white, triple F, right? So now you can see this. Wow, looks good now. So let's jump now into the nodal list. So here we can content UL, right? So the first thing first here, we need to get rid of the list type icons from here. So we can do this by saying list style type none, and then we can add some margin as well from the top. So let's add 30 pixel. So now if you take a look at this, you can see how it looks like, right? So now the next part is the list items. So the list items are going to include here. So we can just here list, we just say list items. And what we want to do, we want to change the background color of this item to something like 444. So we can do this by saying background color to hash 444, and we can add some margin as well from the top. Let's keep it 10 pixels and some padding as well, 15 pixel. Right, so let's take a look at this now. Wow, looks good. So now we need just to keep this radius here, and also we need to change the color of the text. We can also put this in the left and the right side, and we want also to, once we click on this, to keep it, if you keep the cursor pointer, right? So here we can do this by saying color WF here, and cursor is gonna be pointer, right? And so now we can back to the same list by saying content in order list items, and we have here, just okay, can get rid of that, just keep it h4 here, and we can keep the font weight look lighter a little bit. So here's lighter, and then I want to place the icon at the right side of list items, right? To do this, we need just to set content UL I. So here we can use just float right. And now if we take a look at the output, we see something like this. So that's all for today's tutorial, and I hope you find it useful. So this is a part of the HTML CSS playlist. So if you like this, if you find it if you find yourself you are interested in, and you find this tutorial helpful, you can share it with your peers. So that's all for today's tutorial. Bye for now.